Rescuing his own family members after a frightening collision on the water while they were on vacation. And America Strong tonight, three adorable faces rescued from the illegal pet trade and their new chance at life.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, I'm Whit Johnson in for David tonight. We begin with the new tornado threats and severe thunderstorm watches moving from the Midwest to the Carolinas and along the deep south. Millions in the path. Multiple tornadoes touching down over the last 24 hours. A tornado just outside New York City hitting a beach club with 100 people inside. Another tornado ripping off the roof of a hotel in Delaware. Heavy rain and possible flash flooding returning to the Northeast this weekend. And late today, a new tropical storm taking aim at the Hawaiian Islands. Lee Goldberg standing by with the forecast. But first, ABC's Morgan Norwood leads us off.
Cool.
Tonight, towering waterspouts storming beaches around New York City. A damaging tornado touching down in Delaware. Widespread destruction after deadly storms slammed the I-95 corridor.
Oh my God, it is.
In New York City, multiple waterspouts spotted off the coast of Queens and Long Island.
Everyone inside.
Fantastic
Terrified
work, everyone.
families watching debris fly as the waterspout comes ashore as a tornado.
Get inside.
That waterspout roaring ashore, sending dozens of people scrambling for cover as beach chairs, surfboards, even a massive roof went flying. These surveillance videos obtained by our station WABC show just how violent the storms were. Firefighters searching the wreckage for victims. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
Oh my God.
The storm slamming the Philadelphia area too. Watch this dash cam catch a confirmed tornado rip the roof off a motel as it crossed the DuPont Highway in Dover, Delaware. Cassidy Brewer was inside a second motel that was hit.
Honestly, I think it was one of the scariest situations I've ever been in.
The storm's turning deadly outside Norfolk, Virginia, after a man was struck by lightning on the beach in Cape Charles. And Whit, it really is a miracle no one was hurt here. A massive cleanup effort underway tonight. You can see the piles of debris after the first twister to hit Nassau County in 5 years, Whit.
Yeah, really remarkable, that damage behind you. Morgan, thank you for that. Let's get right to ABC's senior meteorologist Lee Goldberg. Lee, the severe storms continue overnight.
Yeah, it's the Carolinas, Whit. Now a break here in the tri-state area. More showers over the weekend, but big storms are approaching Raleigh right now. Severe thunderstorm watches over the Carolinas into the evening hours, and storms circling Myrtle Beach. Also from Baton Rouge to Pensacola, heavy storms, and also from Peoria over to Chicago. The storms over the Carolinas, they go to the mid-Atlantic. The flash flood threat is renewed tomorrow. I think New York City gets
Oh my
spared,
God, a plane crashed in Alaska.
Engineers, the plane going down in foggy conditions near a long-range radar site. Here's ABC's Trevor Ault.
Very
Tonight, the U.S. military
indeed.
says 2 Army Corps of Engineers employees are among the 8 people dead after a small plane crashed near a remote radar site in western Alaska.
The wreckage is in an area of steep mountainous terrain, a ways from the airport. This is going to be a helicopter recovery.
The Army Corps of Engineers had chartered that plane from Security Aviation, headed to Cape Neuenham Long-Range Radar Site Airport, 450 miles west of Anchorage. Officials say around noon Thursday, the aircraft missed its initial approach and crashed on the second landing attempt. It was in the midst of foggy conditions so poor, responders say they initially struggled to locate the wreckage. The military says the people on board were performing a vital mission in a demanding environment. There were no survivors. The crash comes just a day after this fatal collision between a small plane and a state police helicopter in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. The NTSB now says investigators have recovered data cards from both aircraft, and that small plane was flying erratically before impact.
It was in a steep nose pitched up attitude, then it temporarily leveled off and for reasons unknown flew off the right side of the runway and impacted the helicopter.
The plane's pilot, ER Dr. Paul Sokolowski, was killed, and 2 state troopers aboard the helicopter survived with injuries.
Still lots of mysteries in this crash. Why didn't the light aircraft continue on down the runway? Why did the light aircraft make a sudden veer towards the police helicopter at the last second?
With the identities of those 8 people killed in the Alaska plane crash have not been released, the U.S. military is calling this a devastating loss. Whit.
All right, Trevor Ault with those breaking details. Thank you. Next tonight, a harrowing scene on the 60 freeway outside Los Angeles. A tour bus erupting into flames. At least 1 person killed when the fire broke out. More than half the bus burned. The cause of the fire under investigation. We move on now to the Supreme Court handing at least a temporary victory to President Trump. Chief Justice John Roberts allowing the president to continue construction of his $400 million White House ballroom, at least for now. Let's get right to ABC's Rachel Scott. So, Rachel, what does this mean for the project now?
Well, Whit, this is not the last word, but it is a victory for President Trump. In a one-sentence order, Chief Justice John Roberts temporarily allowing the work on the ballroom to continue, giving the justices more time to make a final decision on whether it can go forward. It came after a federal appeals court ruled construction must stop unless the president gets congressional approval first. But Whit, 65% of this ballroom has already been built. Crews have been working nonstop for the last 10 months. And as we've seen, the entire East Wing has already been demolished. It is all happening. The president tonight is celebrating this decision, saying that he is grateful for this order from the high court, saying that construction is moving forward ahead of schedule. Whit.
Okay, Rachel Scott, thank you. Next tonight, the U.S. Navy weighing a controversial decision. Sources telling ABC News Navy officials are considering renaming a new aircraft carrier after President Trump instead of honoring a highly respected black World War II hero as planned. Here's ABC's Martha Raddatz.
He was the first African American in history chosen to have a U.S. aircraft carrier named in his honor, a World War II hero named Doris Miller. But tonight, sources tell ABC News the Pentagon may soon strip that honor away in order to rename
Doris Miller sounds like a perfect name for an aircraft carrier.
After President
honestly.
Trump. Miller was a Navy cook aboard a battleship in Pearl Harbor in 1941 when the Japanese attacked.
The Japanese have attacked the Pearl Harbor.
He ran above deck and with no training, firing an anti-aircraft gun at the onslaught of Japanese warplanes, then carrying injured sailors off the sinking ship to save their lives. He was killed in action himself 2 years later. The first black man in the U.S. ever to receive the Navy Cross for valor. And in 2020, that new honor, an aircraft carrier with his name. His great niece telling us back then,
to have the USS Carrier named after him, our family is just absolutely speechless.
The team building the carrier proud to be part of the history.
My original connection with Doris Miller was the fact that he was someone that looked like me.
At the time, President Trump heralded the decision as well, but with a note of envy.
The next American aircraft carrier will bear the proud name of USS Doris Miller. That's pretty good. They won't give me that honor. That's a big boat. That's a big ship. All right, one day maybe, but in the meantime, you're right, one day maybe.
That's crazy,
that day
man.
may have come.
That's
Sources
crazy that he
ABC
called it out
News
immediately.
Navy officials are now weighing removing Miller's name from the ship and instead considering naming it for President Trump.
What the? He's not even dead,
US
man.
Navy vessel has ever been named for a sitting president. Miller's great niece said it would send a message to all black service members.
It's very heart-wrenching. It's like almost like a stab in the
That's
heart.
insane.
To give it and then take it away, and it kind of make you wonder, like, are we good enough? Are we equal?
We are also told by officials that Miller's Navy Cross may be upgraded to a Medal of Honor, something the family has always wanted. But we asked for an official response from the White House, the Pentagon, and the Navy about the possibility Miller's name would be swapped for President Trump's on the aircraft carrier. They had no comment. Whit.
All right, Martha Raddatz, our thanks to you. Tonight, the Pentagon adding the names of dozens of U.S. troops to the growing list of service members wounded in the Middle East without saying how many were specifically involved in the war with Iran. The Pentagon adding 60 more troops, raising the number to at least 775 service members wounded in what it calls overseas operations. 18 service members have been killed since the war began nearly 6 months ago.
700?
Now to a mother and son facing charges in connection with the killing of a college freshman outside Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Police say she was found stabbed to death in the back of her Jeep and that the son allegedly confessed to killing her. His mother accused of trying to help him cover it up. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, this 18-year-old walked out in handcuffs is charged with stabbing his girlfriend to death.
Did you kill your girlfriend?
Last night. And asking his mom to help him cover it up.
I'm sorry.
Tell us why you're sorry.
That my son took a life.
Royce Moser is charged with killing Caroline Heinz, who was starting her freshman year at Penn West California University near Pittsburgh. Her college soccer team posted this tribute describing their immense pain and sorrow. After she failed to return to her dorm, police said they found her body early Thursday morning in the back of her car with noticeable blood spatter inside and outside the vehicle. Investigators said Moser told them the two were talking when he got angry, then had a demon take over him and tell him to stab Caroline.
He goes inside and grabs a large knife from the kitchen.
That's not a demon, dude.
Comes
That's
back
just
out.
you. That's just you, dude.
And proceeds to stab her in the chest area.
Police said the teen then called his mother, who told him she would help him clean the car with disinfectant spray. They say later she told him to take a bath and then shower, while she allegedly threw out the knife and put his clothes in the washing machine. Police said they found the knife in a garbage bag outside the mother's home.
Mother and son are in custody tonight. Whit, he's charged with criminal homicide. She's charged with evidence tampering. Whit.
Aaron
These
Kaczynski
people
for
are
us tonight.
crazy,
Thank you.
man.
In a case being watched by millions, the Lindsay Clancy murder trial in Massachusetts is now a step closer to going to the jury. The defense resting its case today. Clancy did not take the stand. She has admitted to strangling her 3 young children. The defense claims she was suffering from postpartum psychosis. The prosecution saying it was intentional and planned. Tonight, ABC News learning more about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's stunning decision to return to the UK. It comes as Prince Harry, Elton John, and 5 others are ordered to pay millions of dollars for their failed lawsuit against the publisher of the Daily Mail. ABC's chief international correspondent James Longman in London tonight.
Tonight, a major financial blow for Prince Harry in his war against the British tabloids. A judge ordering the Prince and 6 fellow plaintiffs to pay an initial payment of $13 million after their failed lawsuit against the publisher of the Daily Mail. Harry, who once likened his battle against the press to slaying dragons, will have to share the costs with the others, including Sir Elton John and actress Liz Hurley, and they are expected to pay more. It comes as speculation swells in Britain about why Prince Harry and Meghan are moving back to the UK, and opinion is divided.
I thought they were all for America and all against their family and things.
But tonight, word a potential acting role for Meghan could be in the cards. The Duchess is reportedly in early talks to join the cast of the Netflix show, The Gentleman, if it's greenlit for season 3. The family's security is top of mind for Harry as they make Britain their home. Once again, today the press warned not to release details of their new home or where Archie and Lilibet are enrolled in school. As a British taxpayer, would you be happy to pay for their security if they were not working royals?
You know, maybe his dad wants to chip in some of his private millions towards their safety.
Kerry telling me she just wants them to be safe.
They should just be left to kind of live their life. If they want to come back, they should come back. I think the fuss and the polarisation on TV and in the news and online is just...
Very much. Here
Yeah,
in the
thank you
U.S.,
very
amid
much.
growing American
I really like
concerns
that
about the
story a
cost
lot.
of living, President Trump says he is temporarily waiving a tariff on imported beef for 90 days. The administration says the imported beef will be sold at 25% below market prices. American cattle ranchers and some Republican lawmakers blasting the decision.
Yeah.
Ranchers say drought, along with the rising cost of feed and supply.
The imported beef is going to be cheaper than the beef that's raised in the United States.
Has forced them to shrink the size of their herds, driving beef prices higher. When we come back, a horrifying malfunction at a state fair sending riders
like 2
slamming
seconds
into
long.
a railing. A lifeguard rescuing his own family members.
Oh
The
my
frightening
God.
collision on the water while on vacation.
Yo, that's
Pizza Hut
crazy.
snapping into football season with a name change. And the rescued spider monkeys. We'll take a look at how they're getting settled into their new home.
Yeah, I don't like spiders, man.
Next tonight, 9 people injured when a ride malfunctioned at a state fair outside Nashville. A visitor recorded the wave swinger Wednesday, the seat suddenly swinging lower and closer to the fence. You can hear the sound, then slamming riders into the railing. Witnesses say riders were screaming and crying. State officials say the ride passed inspection just days ago. An investigation is underway into what went wrong. A lifeguard saves 3 family members after a water tubing excursion took a frightening turn in Aruba. The family was riding 2 separate tubes when one crashed into a boat, throwing one group into the water. Lifeguard Marcelo Lorenzo quickly dove in and rescued his father, aunt, and a cousin. They each suffered minor injuries. Lorenzo stabilized the 3 until help arrived. When we come back, the CDC alert about outbreaks of E. coli and salmonella possibly linked to alfalfa sprouts in multiple states. To the index now, a 15-state salmonella and E. coli outbreak the CDC says is linked to alfalfa sprouts. Health officials report
Can we eat
55
anything, man?
people have been sickened and 4 hospitalized.
Nothing at all.
The
Nothing's
bulk
good
of
for
the
us.
illnesses in Wisconsin and Minnesota. Cases, though, stretching from Washington State to Vermont and down to Florida. All of the cases are being linked to sprouts from the grower Everything Sprouts. The company tonight voluntarily recalling alfalfa sprouts sold in 5-ounce containers.
That's crazy.
Well, this football season, Pizza Hut is getting game day ready with a name change. The
For what?
franchise is dropping the pizza and leaving the hut. As football fans know, hut is the call before snapping the ball. So for the next 25 weeks, the chain is adopting this football.
Yeah, I've heard
Some
enough of the news, actually. You know what? I'm tired of this. Yeah, moving on. Can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? It's doing the thing again. Fuck. No.
Apologized.
No. I had it. I had it. Okay, gotta turn this off. Let's. Manage extension. Turn it off. And we're back over here.
She has not apologized for attending an anti-Israel rally on October 8th.
Yeah, and no one should, because anyone with history and honesty knew that the genocide was going to escalate then. And it already had. We already had reports, day of October 7th, that war crimes were being committed by the Israeli government. So when are you going to apologize for engaging in genocide denial for multiple years after that? When are you going to apologize for lying about the crimes that Israel and the Israeli Defense Forces have committed against the Palestinians? Because this is such an odd game to play, right? Looking at everyone that was right before you were and saying, I don't like how right you were. Well, I've only just admitted that they're committing a genocide and they're committing war crimes, but I was right 3 years ago in being wrong about what they were gonna do. Like, bro, have some humility about being incorrect. It is such, I want to kind of center how wild this argument is and how wild it is to still have the belief that you have any moral standing on this issue. Because what they have now admitted is that Israel's committing a genocide. That is the, Pod Save America bros position. But that means they were wrong in denying it every single time they did. Because now that you recognize they had the intent, Netanyahu had this intent 10 years ago. Netanyahu had this intent from the start of his politics. And the second you recognize that, great, growth, learning, agreement, we welcome you. But you gotta recognize with some humility that you were wrong. And you sure as hell can't condemn, attack, undermine people that were right before you. You can have issue with the language they have. You can still pretend like, supporting resistance of Palestinians is somehow a faux pas. Whatever. But saying that there's an issue with it being October 8th, motherfucker, the reason we knew it was going to escalate on October 8th is because we read a book. Have you?
Yeah.
And if you haven't, sit the fuck down. And by the way, if we're in the business of condemning people we past support, would you like to condemn Obama for his war crimes? If we're going to have a moral high ground or a moral bar for who you profess support for, would you like to condemn your boss who committed way more war crimes than Palestinian resistance ever will? Murdered way more people than Palestinian resistance ever will? No? Oh, no, you don't? Okay, I don't know what this audacity is coming from then.
She has not apologized for attending an anti-Israel rally on October 8th.
Yeah, and no one should, because anyone with history and
Also,
honesty
what was
knew
the
that
rally?
the genocide was going to
That's what I would
escalate
like to
then.
know. It's probably like nothing major, honestly. Anyways. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, good thing I turned the thing off.
APAC money? Is that true?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Getting
Why don't you
APAC
tell
money.
this camera?
Oh, they know this is my camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we tell them that one of the most important things we respect about Angie, besides all of the other popular progressive policies, is that she doesn't take APAC money. That will free another Senate seat up to be honest and to move forward with America's interests.
Thank you,
Thank you. That you don't take
Fantastic video. Let's get some more information
The
here.
stage is set for the Senate race in Florida with Democratic Socialist candidate Angie Nixon pulling off a major upset in her primary as she now faces incumbent Senator Ashley Moody in a state that's been trending increasingly red. Angie Nixon today also securing a notable endorsement from progressive Senator Bernie Sanders as she pivots to the general election matchup. And joining me now is Florida's Democratic candidate for Senate, State Representative Angie Nixon. Thank you so much for joining me and congratulations on your primary win.
Thank you for having me.
So let's dive in. Florida, which has been trending increasingly red, as you know, in the last several elections. President Trump won 3 times. Why do you think this state is now ready to vote for a Democratic Socialist in the Senate?
So thank you for having me. And I want to be clear, the state is not red. The state has just not been invested in by Democrats. And so now I am super excited because I am a union organizer, a community organizer.
Where when the Democratic Party doesn't see that a state can be majority controlled by the Dems, they will just do the bare minimum in the area. And not really give it a full effort. I mean, you kind of see that with like Jasmine Crockett and Tallarico, Texas.
And we know what it takes to win
Beto
across
O'Rourke.
the state is to actually go and talk to voters and let them know that we deserve better when we're talking about the issues that Floridians are facing and that Americans are facing in this country.
See it as a losing
it's
investment.
all the same across the board when it comes to Republicans, Democrats, independents, any label, right? Folks are fed up with the current status quo and the fact that people like unelected Ashley Moody and Donald Trump are only looking out for their campaign donors and their billionaire and ultra wealthy millionaire friends and family. They want some relief. I am running as a Democrat. I happen to also be a member of DSA, a member of the Working Families Party, a member of the NAACP, a member of countless organizations that want to ensure that we have access to quality health care. We also want to make sure that we have access to quality housing. We also want to make sure that we have fully funded public schools that provide a quality education. And that is resonating across the board. They are tired of people turning their backs on them, these elected officials who are actually working less and less and less and getting richer. Meanwhile, we're working harder than ever and still struggling to stay afloat.
I want to play some of what your opponent, Senator Ashley Moody, has said about your campaign and get your response on the other side. Take a look.
My opponent will be a self-proclaimed socialist that proudly signed up and joined the Democratic Socialists of America. Angie Nixon, who will be my opponent in November, and her comrades want to destroy this country. And
her comrades.
Some strong words there. How do you respond?
You know, when people's voice start getting squeaky and really high pitched, usually they're lying. And Ashley Moody knows that I'm not a socialist. I joined the DSA because I believe in them in regards to fighting for adequate public housing, as well as fighting for quality health care, as well as making sure that we are getting our veterans off the street, taking big money out of politics, right?
That's a big thing to say, that I'm not a socialist, yet you joined the Democratic Socialists of America. I don't know that I like that strategy.
The Democratic Party is a big tent. It is a big tent, and it's an everybody party. We have folks on the left, on the right, to the middle of the party, and I'm super excited to be on a ticket with someone like David Jolly, with someone like JJR, because we bring different things, and that's what folks, but at the end of the day, what folks want, as I stated earlier, is they are tired of the status quo. Ashley Moody is someone who decided to use $10 million that was supposed to be directed at the most medically needy kids in our state, she allowed that to be diverted to defeat 2 citizen-led ballot initiatives, which would have helped improve our health for Floridians here in the state. She also decided to increase, she voted against the ACA subsidies, which basically knocked off over 300,000 people off the ACA rolls. So our private insurance went up, as well as those folks who lost their insurance. She doesn't care about anyone but looking out for her billionaire friends.
Let me ask you, because you did join the DSA, and I think people and voters have questions about where you stand as it relates to the DSA platform. So let's go through a few of the issues that they stand for. The DSA calls for abolishing the Senate, the office that you are running for. Do you support abolishing the Senate?
I support, no, I don't. Not at this, no, I don't support that.
Just got here. What's happening?
Not at all. Okay. Well, let me ask, let's go through a couple
listening
more. The
to
DSA
Angie
platform
Nixon.
also calls for defunding the Pentagon and lifting sanctions on Iran. Do you support defunding the Pentagon or lifting sanctions on Iran?
I think we need to make sure that we are looking at the Department of Defense budget with a fine-tooth comb. They are the only agency or department that has failed an audit. And so I want to make sure that we're spending our money wisely. Right now, we are in a very expensive war in Iran, which has caused some of
The
our
interview is
military
going
men and women to
100%
lose
the
their
direction it should be
lives.
going,
And
but
it has
it's
also
okay.
caused Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of Donald Trump, to get richer, and many of their campaign donors who are defense contractors to get richer. People are frustrated at that.
But would you go so far as actually supporting defunding the military?
Why not?
I think we need to figure out what we're going to use our funding on, right?
So you don't rule that out?
I don't believe in funding. I don't believe in defunding anything. I think we need to make sure that we are scrutinizing them, and we need to make sure we're spending money the right way.
A lot of gotcha questions coming from Kristen.
Make sure we're doing. We need to make sure we're fully
Kristen.
funding public education. We need to make sure that we are fully funding Medicare and providing universal health care for people, because people shouldn't be going bankrupt simply because they go to the doctor. We also need to make sure that we're providing things like universal child care. And how do we do this? Well, we repeal that big BS bill because it wasn't beautiful, the one that Donald Trump pushed, and we make these billionaires.
Yeah, why can't we cut the $1 trillion budget? The $1.7 trillion military budget. Like that is like, they say that it's going to be like at least 1 trillion. No, it's like 1.7 trillion when you put it all together.
We also close these corporate tax loopholes. The fact remains that over 88 companies last year made over $105 billion, and they paid absolutely nothing in federal taxes. I've been talking to people, and it was a woman who told me she made $55,000 last year, and she's on a payment plan with the IRS.
So it sounds like you do want to make big changes to how the military is funded. Would that run the risk of making the United States vulnerable to?
Oh my God. Yes, we need all 900 fucking bases around the fucking planet. That's what we need to spend our money on. Like we actually have to, we need to immediately rebuild every single base that Iran blew up. Like right now. Like, you know what? Yeah, use all my taxes, actually. Fuck Social Security. Fuck the roads. I mean, like, who cares about anything, really? Anything that the public needs. Just give it all to Israel and build more military bases. Actually, build an entire wall of military bases around Iran. It would be great. Without the U.S. military base in the British Indian Ocean territory, the world would be in grave danger.
You know who's making us vulnerable to attacks? Donald Trump. Donald Trump is bullying
Diego
folks.
Garcia.
Donald Trump is being disrespectful. He's trying to just, do things that the Congress and Senate has not agreed.
We need more parking garages for our B-2 bombers. Yeah.
And so again, we need to make
You got
sure
ball
that
knowledge?
we are
Yeah,
scrutinizing
I'm on it.
all of our spending with a fine-tooth comb. There are veterans that are living unhoused on the streets. There are active duty military people who are on their families, their spouses who are on food stamps. Yeah. Clearly something is broken right now. And so we need to make sure that Pete Hegseth isn't allowing combat helicopters.
The auto translate is like auto generated text is like the best thing. Pete Hoekstra.
Helicopters to go outside of Kid Rock's home for a cool social media moment. Our taxpayer dollars shouldn't be spent on that. There are literally people rationing their prescription drugs right now. We need
Let
to
me
make
ask-
that stop.
Okay, the DSA platform also calls for drafting a new constitution. Do you
Yeah,
support
that shit's outdated, man. It was written by fucking slave owners. Like, what the fuck?
Drafting a new constitution.
I don't support that, but what I do support
Other countries fucking get a new constitution like every fucking few decades, man.
is making sure that we're fully following the Constitution, which is
That too.
everything that Donald Trump is
That's a good
against.
talking point.
We need
actually.
to make sure that we
If you
are
want to smooth
enforcing,
over the normies, that's definitely the talking point you should go with.
the Constitution and enforcing our laws and not allowing someone like Donald Trump, who happens to be a 34-count adjudicated rapist, to actually circumvent those things.
Damn.
Well, it sounds like you disagree with a number of the DSA policy items while agreeing with some of them, perhaps.
And
I guess,
but the main
I mean,
the
she
main
explained that
policy items that
earlier.
I agree with, which unfortunately leadership within the Democratic caucuses don't agree with, is making sure that we have access to universal health care, right? I don't understand what is wrong with me not wanting people to go bankrupt if they go to the doctor. There are literally people who are dying because health insurance companies want to deny their claims. They want to deny them life-saving health care. Like, that is wrong. Do we
But
not
let me
see
ask
anything
you-
wrong with these companies doing this? They're only doing this because they want to make a profit.
why join the DSA if you disagree with various parts of their platform? Does it not just be
Hold up, I'm an uneducated foreigner. Is the DSA the Democratic Socialists of America? Yes. It's like the most like the furthest left that really we've seen a lot of politicians go so far in the United States, just because of like Red Scare propaganda from like the 50s. And so it's kind of the best we got right now, but compared to other countries, it's maybe left of center. And one of their main selling points is universal health care. You know, when Obama got elected, that was one of the things that, that was kind of trying to be pushed, was universal health care. The best thing we got was I think it's the ACA. The like Obamacare, basically what they call it. Not truly universal healthcare, but just making it more available to more people, especially like those that are in poverty. But that it's still not. You still like 40% of fucking like of adults in the United States have medical debt, meaning that they are in debt because they have medical bills. So like that's a failure of a country, honestly. Like, so the DSA are normal people with empathy, basically, yes. But yeah, like 70, what's like 40% of adults, that would be, I don't know. It's like almost like 100 million people in the United States that have medical debt. And like a good percentage of that is like crushing medical debt, where it's like you're in like the tens to the hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're in debt because basically you have medical conditions that you have to pay for, otherwise you would die. But I think that's what like the wealthy class in the United States wants. They want, if they can't profit off of your life, if they can't have you finance every single thing, every aspect of your life, then they would rather you just fucking die. Like, they were like, if I can't like get an APR percentage and squeeze the life out of you at the same time and get like your undying devotion to your job, then they want you to fucking die.
become a distraction from your own campaign and your own agenda?
Because if they're not getting that wealth extraction out of you, then that means that you are like a leech on the system, which means that you're like getting Medicaid or you're getting like assistance of some sort that is usually government provided, and therefore you're taking money out of their pocket. So they would rather you die.
You all are the only ones that are distracted. I'm actually going out talking to voters about the things that matter to them. And so we should make sure that we're pivoting to the right conversations. The fact remains that there are people who are dying because they don't have access to quality health care. Meanwhile, Ashley Moody voted to end the ACA subsidies. As I stated, nearly 300,000
and then
people
they're
fell
like
off.
the most fucking mediocre the changes that the Obama administration made ACA, like they're still trying to defund that shit too.
The Affordable Care Act rolls. There are people who are dying because they don't have access to health care. Also, the fact that Ashley Moody is corrupt, right? She's corrupt. She allowed $10 million that was supposed to go towards the most medically needy kids to be diverted because they wanted to defeat 2 citizen-led ballot initiatives. The status quo is broken. People are losing their minds right now and taking their lives and even taking their children's lives. And the people at the top want to stoke division and want to like push this hateful rhetoric. At the end of the day, I have always been about the people of Florida, which is why my campaign is Angie for Florida. I want people to
give her more ingredients, let her cook. No, she's cooking for real right now. Yeah.
Flourish.
Very quickly, because I know that you have to go. Congressman Jolly says he is a capitalist. Would you call yourself a capitalist, or do you reject capitalism?
I live in a capitalistic society. I'm a small business owner. I like to make money. I don't see what the problem is.
So are you a capitalist?
I'm a capitalist who believes that we need some strong regulation.
Okay. All right. And will you campaign with David Jolly? Are you planning to campaign with him?
I don't have a problem.
Unfortunately, right now, everybody in the United States is a capitalist, whether they like it or not, because we're participating in a capitalist system. We have no choice.
Campaigning with anyone on the Democratic ticket that is for actually having quality health care, that's for actually expanding access to universal child care. I want people who want to improve the quality of life for all Floridians. I'm sorry, I am still operating on a minimum amount of sleep, but I am out here just, talking to people. I'm super excited. Look, y'all, it doesn't have to be this way. I believe that hardworking, everyday people should get to shape what our communities look like and what our economies look like instead of this billionaire class that is actually running the show. I'm ready to put the power back in the hands of the people.
All right. Well, I know that you probably have not slept much. Angie Nixon, thank you for joining us on a very busy week for you. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
All right, please come back soon. We should note we have also extended an invitation to Angie Nixon's challenger, Senator Ashley Moody.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories.
She's got a lot to answer for after that one, man.
Or watch live on our YouTube channel.
She fucking cooked her ass for real. Yeah. Oh, hold on, seeing what's going on.
Be it a $4 gas, because President Trump. Today, I'm raising my emotional support, be it a $4 gas.
Hell yeah.
Because President Trump said he's not going to apologize for gas being $4 on account of the war in Iran. And I say, good. He shouldn't have to apologize. He just keeping us safe from the terrorists. It
was satire, by the way.
It was either $4 gas or having a nuclear missile shoved up your ass by the Ayatollah of Cornhola. And I, for one, don't want nothing shoved up my ass. Unless it's from President Donald J. Trump, because after all, I am MAGA. If President Trump said, spread them, buddy, you don't even know. You don't know. You'd have to...
I was on the fence. Yeah, this dude's, he's a comedian. He does this is always his take.
Hey, honey, go get my glasses, because I can't even tell if this is the Grand Canyon or that guy's asshole. I mean, $4, that's just a small price to pay to not know what's in the Epstein files. And I drive a diesel. It's more like $5 or $6 to me. I don't even care. I'm so happy about it. I just pull that gas nozzle out and I just shoot it all over the front of the truck. I just pull and I blast it right in the face. That's a money shot right there. That's a $200 money shot every time I go to fill up every single week. And thankfully, it's only gas that's expensive. Thankfully, nothing else besides the vehicle I personally drive requires fuel to get from point A to point B. So then that increased fuel cost can't be passed on to other stuff like groceries, manufacturing, and everything else. Thankfully, nothing else costs more. What a relief. And if you ask me, gas is, it's not expensive enough. Freedom isn't free. It should cost $7 or $8 a gallon. If that's what
Yeah.
Trump wants, then that's what my orange daddy gets. If he said jump, I'd say, how far do you want me to spread him, Mr. President? You might want to go get a donkey because you're going to need to ride something to get down to the bottom of this cavernous asshole. And you know, I wish I could pull up a cup chair to witness my own fucking and by the man that I voted for 3 times, if not more. But until then, I guess I'll just have to pull up my own bank account. Today I'm raising my...
What? Okay, that went in a weird direction, honestly. Yeah, $4 a gallon for gas. That's actually that's not bad compared to a lot of other countries. But we treat it like it is. But yeah, the more, it used to be like $2, maybe $3 like a year ago. Honestly, what's the difference, right? Who doesn't like paying double, especially when you get freedom out of it? Hell yeah, brother. Anything for Israel, because I mean, you got to remember Israel started the latest war with Iran, and we kind of took over, and now they're just chilling on the sidelines. It's kind of weird, honestly. Where are they? $8.25 a gallon. Oh my god! Did that go up recently? I assume it did. Yeah. All right. Let's check in on Israel. What are they doing?
Israelis are so bored; they have nothing better to do than to.
I love Israel 6969. Look outside in exactly 5 minutes. I'm serious. Look outside. We're making something special for you.
Make up stories to try and intimidate me. I'll go outside. I ain't scared of no Israel. Y'all ain't on shit for it. Allahu Akbar. These niggas just drop a nuke in my fucking backyard, y'all. Y'all seen this shit, man? These Israelis are so bored. They have nothing.
This is one of my favorite new accounts that's been posting. Hold on. What did he post recently? Oh, this one.
Hi everybody, come spend the day with me as a Canadian living in southern Lebanon. So I started off by getting a haircut, cause I gotta stay fresh to death in this motherfucker. Then I went home after my haircut, but there was no home left to go to. So I had to rent out this nice little Airbnb. But it sucks that my house got blown up.
Promise that you will sing about me. Promise that you will.
I guess we all cope in different ways, right?
The light shut off, and it's my turn to settle down.
Hi everybody.
This dude's been making these types of videos the whole time. He is Canadian. Chillest man in history. Yeah. What was the other? Hold on, there was another one. Which one was it? Oh, this one.
Hi everyone, come spend a day with me in Lebanon. My uncle is forcing me to go with him to check on his house, which is in the middle of a war zone. He said if he dies, he doesn't want to die alone. Luckily, the house is still standing, but when we got inside, an Israeli drone came right up to us. I think it just wanted to say hello. And just when I thought my life couldn't be more strange, I get home and the neighbor's kid started to seduce me. I mean, serenade me. Hi, everyone.
Oh, man. Yeah. Follow that guy for more of that type of content.
Turkey and Israel are edging closer to a direct confrontation. Now, it all started in Syria. Israel struck a Syrian airbase, saying it was preparing to host Turkish forces.
Now, Turkey and Israel going to war.
Trying to de-escalate and is working on a deconfliction mechanism between Turkey,
Israel threatening NATO allies
and Syria.
Yeah, they said that they figured out that they can attack Turkey as long as it's inside of Syria and nobody cares.
But the question is, will Turkey and Israel start a war? Take a look.
Which, I mean, like HTS took over Syria, right? Overthrew Assad. whatnot.
Immediate flashpoint in West Asia is
HTS
Syria.
being a group that was backed by Turkey.
Both nations inch closer to war.
Yeah, so
The escalation happened when Israel struck.
They're going to go to war basically with Turkey's proxy, but I mean at the same time that's like they're like, oh yeah, well we can attack Turkish troops and nobody really cares.
Abu al-Duhur Air Base in northwestern Syria.
And like the logic is that you're not attacking Turkey directly, so it's not actually part of whatever the clause is. I think it's like fifth, something like that.
Saying it was acting to prevent a Turkish military deployment.
We will not tolerate Turkish military presence.
Yeah, I'd like to see them fight an actual country with competent military instead of a bunch of unarmed civilians. Yeah,
pushing itself as it moves south. It
guys with rockets made in bathtubs, made out of bathtubs.
Now we saw that Turkey intends to establish presence in the airport southern to its lines and close to Aleppo. So we conveyed a message. How would I define the message for you?
Turkey rejected that justification.
Yeah, see, he said we sent a message basically.
At the base and denounced the strike as an escalation. But behind the airstrike is a much bigger strategic dispute.
These dudes are nuts.
Ankara has emerged as a major backer of Syria's new government, while Israel is determined to limit what it sees as hostile military entrenchment on its northern front.
I mean, and don't forget, they already took like parts of southern Syria already. Like they're already occupying more and more of land in Syria.
Our efforts and contributions towards preserving Syria's sovereignty and territorial integrity and helping it achieve stability and security will continue with determination.
And that is where the two countries' security calculations are colliding. Militarily, Turkey is a formidable power. It has a large standing military, a substantial reserve force, a major air force, and one of NATO's largest militaries. Global Firepower's 2026 assessment ranks Turkey among the world's top military powers, with a large inventory of aircraft, armor, artillery, and naval assets. Israel, however, has a different kind of advantage. Its military is smaller in manpower, but it has high-end air power, advanced intelligence and surveillance capabilities, precision strike systems, and a
Turkey's ranked number 9 worldwide in military force projection. It's weird that, you know, I imagine they would do something like the fucking pager attack, like just to start things off.
Air and missile defense network. Israel also operates the F-35I, giving its air force a significant stealth and long-range strike capability. So a direct war.
But also, I think this is one of the reasons that like Trump is causing a lot of conflict within NATO.
Simply be a question of who has more troops or more weapons.
Is to weaken
NATO. It would
NATO.
be a contest between Turkey's scale, industrial capacity, and strategic depth, and Israel's technological.
Not that he's doing this on purpose for the reason to back Israel, but just because it all lines up.
But there is another major variable, which is alliances. On August 7, 2026, Turkey,
yeah, and this is
Saudi
the big
Arabia
thing that just came up recently, right? Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey signed
a joint defense agreement based on collective deterrence. The agreement says an armed attack on one of the 3 states would be regarded as an attack on all 3. The pact does not name Israel as an adversary, and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has said it targets no country, but its timing is significant. It creates a new security alignment involving Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and nuclear-armed Pakistan at a time when Israel's regional relations are already under strain. And this raises the bigger question: could Syria become the trigger for a much wider West Asian confrontation?
I mean, hasn't it been
Washington
this entire time, basically?
To happen. U.S. Special
the Syria has been torn apart for like what decades now, right? By Western and like other imperial interests.
Tom Barrack has said that the Israeli strike on the Abu al-Duhur air base nearly triggered a direct military clash between the two. For now, there is no indication that Ankara or Tel Aviv wants an all-out war. But the red lines are getting closer. Turkey wants a stronger role in post-Assad Syria. Israel wants to prevent any military power it considers a threat from establishing a foothold there. And with new regional defense alignments taking shape, every new strike or military deployment now carries the risk of a much larger escalation.
Why wasn't this in my news earlier? My news in the United States, they talk about fucking Pizza Hut changing their names. Some monkeys, the weather, there's a tornado over here somewhere. The news in the United States, this is the national news, by the way, like the afternoon national news. They just talk about the weather. This is the leading story. Not the fucking World War III that's currently going on and expanding every fucking day. Like, what the hell, dude?
Look. I'm tired of you niggas that is new to ball sitting here talking about, oh, it's the Jews. It's like, stop this, okay? Benjamin Netanyahu is from Philadelphia. These niggas are from New York, okay? These are white people. White people. When niggas pull up and genocide, disease, steal your land, destroy your culture, colonize. This is white people shit. This was originated by the white man, okay? This whiteness is a tool of class domination. It is a tool of subjugation. It is a tool of colonialization, okay? So stop with this. There's no difference between y'all. Okay, there's no difference between y'all whatsoever. Y'all doing the same exact shit. Whether it be in Venezuela, Cuba, Israel, Congo, Sudan, Yemen, the same exact
I think you like his
shit.
vids?
And not only do y'all do it around the world, y'all do it to each other. Let's not forget how Western Europeans look at Eastern Europeans. They look at y'all like slaves. Do y'all research. Second serfdom. There is no capitalism without the damn near abject enslavement of Eastern Europe. Okay? So let's be fucking real here. This is white people shit. Okay? This is European, barbaric, white people shit. Okay? I just saw the picture where it was like, we need a two-state solution. And it was like, half of the world was Nazi, half of the world was Israel. Y'all niggas don't get it! You don't, this is the same one-party state! The same shit that Israel's doing is the same shit the Nazis were doing. Ethno-state shit. Eugenicist shit. Settler colonial shit. Conquering shit. Imperialist shit. Is no difference. This is literally like this fucking Spider-Man meme, okay? The Nazis got their sauce from America. The white supremacist capital of the fucking universe. Okay? Shit ain't nothing new. I'm tired of you niggas acting like this shit going on with Israel. This is nothing new. This is white supremacy, nigga. Where does Israel get all of its money from? The white supremacist capital of the universe. Same shit, different day. Okay, I'm tired.
I mean, it used to be the UK, and now it's the United States.
Of this shit. Look. I'm tired of you.
I mean, like this guy, don't know pal, Eastern Europeans and us patties get along. He's saying white supremacists, okay? Not just anybody. White supremacists. It's an ideology, man. It doesn't necessarily apply to every single person. It's not just like everybody else is in a monolith. So are white people at the same time. Fucking these dudes like this fucking get on my nerves. Anyways, what's white supremacist Nick Shirley?
Fine for illegal. Give someone a $4,000 fine for looking into immigration support service providers.
Did you guys hear that Nick Shirley has a small penis, allegedly?
Wow, that's so adult of you.
Did you hear about this?
That's so adult of you.
Has a small penis. Well, I don't know. This is what they're reporting.
This is a beautiful lady right here, sir. See, we're not being hostile.
You don't get to touch my penis.
Legal. Give someone a...
He said, "Can you not be hostile?" And then he gets hostile with him. Okay, dude. Yeah. What's up with these the interviewer guys?
Is God pro-life?
Yes.
No, he turned a woman into salt because she turned around and looked at a city. I'm sorry. Are you against abortion?
Yes.
Do you think God is pro-life?
Yes.
No, he killed 42 children by a bear attack because they made fun of somebody for being bald. I'm sorry. It's in the Bible. Look it up.
Their faces. Oh, somebody didn't read the Bible. All right, what we got? Oh yeah. This is what our military's up to.
Back to the son, you come back to the army and re-enlist, we'll give you 6 days off to play Grand Theft Auto 4. I mean 4 days off to play Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah, but like if I leave, then I can play it as long as I want.
Oh, hell no. What's up,
What's up, dog? What's up, classy nerd?
Yeah, damn it, fuck, I didn't think of that. Son, you come back to the army.
Oh, I added pain to the buttons. That's a good one.
And re-enlist, we'll give you 6 days off to play Grand Theft Auto 4. I mean 4 days off to play Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah, but like if I leave, then
But dude, if you sign up for 2 more years, you can get 4 days off to go play Grand Theft Auto 6 when it comes out. Where else are you going to play Grand Theft Auto 6 when it comes out? To the buttons. Hold on. To the rewards thingy for the Brodo. It should say pain. Yeah, there it is. Also, I fixed the fa. See, I've been working on stuff. Get that one going. I got this one going. I need to put a little image for that one, actually. I like that one. Good. Yeah, where am I? Oh, I had to check on my YouTube stream. It's still going. All right. Over to
Everything
Uber.
is expensive right now, but the ride you take to work, to the airport, home from the bar,
Like that fa?
that's climbing
Yeah.
higher than almost anything. Uber's CEO was asked where that money's going.
Well, I think it is about inflation. Our drivers need to make a living.
And
The
maybe
chair
he's
is still
right.
there, too.
So check. Pull up a fare and do the math. The problem is you can't check. Since 2022, Uber uses an algorithm no one outside the company can see to set wages and fares. In 2024, I ran an experiment with 7 drivers. Different pay for the same rides. Uber said we got it wrong. In 2026, Consumer Reports tested the other side. 174 riders. Same trip, different prices, fake promotions. Uber said they got it wrong. Drivers have been pooling receipts. Not 7, not 174, millions. But one driver noticed charges that don't add up the way they should. Same driver, same ride, different charges.
So somebody's getting rich off of it. Me, not the passenger.
Every
It's
one
like
of those charges.
It's like Uber's like nickel and diming, like either on the customer, like on the consumer end, or on the service provider and the driver. So like they're like occasionally they'll take a good percentage off of either one and pocket that money.
Comes out of the same place. The fare you pay. So I started to investigate.
$178 for what?
Expected. An Ivy League business school, a little-known insurance company in Hawaii, and an amendment to a transportation bill. None of it looks connected, but it all ends up on the same receipt. Yours.
I would say that Uber driving is the best job I've ever had.
Levi Spires used to be an accountant. Now he drives for Uber.
There's a sense of freedom to it that I never got making Excel spreadsheets or PowerPoint presentations or anything else like that.
He analyzes every trip he takes on a spreadsheet. Old habits. Column by column, it doesn't add up the way it should. I met him outside of Ithaca, where we matched for a ride to the Syracuse airport.
So how many times do you think you've driven to that airport? I've probably driven to the Syracuse airport 500 times.
For a year and a half, Levi drove this route nearly 100 times. For this sample, riders paid a median fare of about $121. Levi's cut before tips around $63. Except some trips paid him $51, others paid $90.
So there was no rhyme or reason why the pay was the pay.
Not even surge pricing. The swings didn't immediately map to anything he could see.
I love efficiency. I enjoy variable pricing. I don't think it's a horribly immoral type of thing.
Levi was just trying to figure out which rides to accept.
Disagree.
And he ended up stumbling on something bigger.
I think the most compelling piece of information
they're gonna fire his ass tomorrow
was the commercial auto insurance.
Commercial auto insurance. 3 words designed to make you stop watching, which is exactly why they matter so much. Most states require commercial insurance for companies that carry passengers. It pays when things go wrong. Crashes, injuries, lawsuits. When Uber explains rising fares and falling pay, this is the cost they keep on bringing up.
These inflated costs are passed directly to the people who rely on rideshare to get to work, to school, to doctor's appointments.
What happens
and
if you try to use
the earnings
the
of drivers who keep our platform moving?
Riders pay it in, the booking fee, part of the fare. Uber collects it out of the driver's cut. And it's not a nickel or dime.
In Los Angeles County, up to 45% of every fare goes to government-mandated insurance.
That's the claim. Insurance is a hidden cost driving up your fare and pulling down driver pay. According to Uber, it's roughly 20% of the fare across the nation. Commercial insurance is expensive, but if the fee is what Uber says it is, it should track what insurance does.
Don't companies usually pay some sort of like insurance, and they eat the cost like that? They don't usually like if you're having to pay insurance as a consumer on your end, that's just the company themselves not wanting to pay the insurance. Because, like, for example, like retailers have insurance for loss prevention type of things, right? For shrinkage, or shrink is what it's called. So, like, when something gets broken or lost or stolen, they account for that and they use their insurance at the end of the year to recover those losses. I mean, they're not just going to eat the loss. That's why they pay the insurance. Them making you pay insurance up front as a consumer is just them not wanting to pay the insurance that they should be paying.
Risk.
This was like the exact same ride over and over and over again on the same road.
Yeah, but then if that's the case, then he should be getting the same pay every single time.
Sometimes Uber charged Levi $13.75 for insurance. Other times, $50.
It's lost the narrative, right? That's not the point of insurance.
For the year, Levi estimates around $20,000 of his fares goes towards commercial car insurance through Uber.
So somebody's getting rich off of it? I don't know. Not me. Yeah. Not the passenger.
Levi's spreadsheet landed with Len Sherman, PhD in transportation economics from MIT, decades advising the transportation industry, now Columbia Business School.
Well, I've always been fascinated with Uber. It earned the dubious distinction of having lost more money than any company, any startup in history until OpenAI came along. And now it's turned into a money-making machine.
By the time I got to Manhattan, he'd already ran the numbers on Levi's airport data.
The variance in the commercial insurance rate charge on those 100-plus trips varied even more than the price and pay that the drivers and riders are experiencing. And that struck me as odd. That's not how insurance is supposed to work. People with essentially the same type of risk profile should be charged the same amount of premiums.
Len's team tested everything that should move an insurance rate.
The year of the trip, did that impact the fee? The day of the week?
Nope.
The timing of the trip?
Nope.
The service type?
Nope.
What did impact the fee?
2 factors and 2 factors alone, the price of the trip and the driver pay of the trip.
Charge more for the ride, and the insurance goes up with it. Not the risk, the price. Uber disputes this. The company says the fee is based on a trip's risk profile, and that Sherman's analysis is wrong. We'll lay out their full response a bit later. But for this data, the numbers move with the money.
Oh yeah, by the way, I did Lyft for like a short while. Then my car broke down when I was driving. I was driving somebody across the town, and like my car broke down. Literally, the radiator fucking burst open.
Where does it go? Len showed me a chart that may have an answer.
That was the end of that.
Built from data Uber itself provided, 50,000 rides across 3 drivers. This is one driver's history. The pattern holds for all 3. The green line is what you pay for a ride.
The red line, the driver pay, seemed to be moving in lockstep, and that's not a coincidence. There was a fixed proportion that drivers would keep 80 to 85% of what the rider paid.
In 2014, Uber said it out loud, promising drivers 80% of each fare. Then came a new CEO and an IPO to prepare for.
For us, the path to profitability isn't theoretical.
And a stock award
It's robbing
of
our
about
workers.
$100 million if he could increase the company's value. He needed margins.
He slashed driver pay almost overnight by 30 to 35% across the country. You could see the impact in that red line falling off a cliff.
The space opening up between those lines has a name. The take rate, or Uber's cut.
And it jumped from 15% to almost 40% almost overnight. And as you could see towards the end of the chart, and now exceeding 50%. More than half of what you pay as a rider is going to Uber rather than the driver. 50% take rate.
We've never been more productive as workers, and we also earn much less in percentage as workers these days.
Sort of threshold.
It's weird how these companies keep having record-breaking profits every quarter. Yet, wages don't go up. Yet we get told, oh, well, if you raise the minimum wage, then the price of everything's going to go up. The price of everything's going up already, man. What the fuck you mean? Like everything is expensive. Fucking $15 goddamn burritos, dude. Like, have you tried to buy anything recently?
Now passes into the realm of embarrassment. Oh, it doesn't sound good that we're taking more than half.
But 50% is not the number Uber gives the public.
They claim their take rate is under 20%.
50 reported as 20. So where is it hiding? Let me show you. Here's another of Levi's rides to the airport. It's an extreme example. The rider paid $47.21. Taxes and surcharges, $5.96. Levi earned $9.20. Uber's cut, 18%. Just like they say. That's $23.75, barely half the fare. The other half, $23.46, is a single line item. Uber labels it commercial insurance and operating expenses. It's believed that fee is mostly insurance. But who insures Uber, a company with $52 billion in revenue, running 11 billion trips a year?
Who's the insurance company?
On September 27, 2021, James River Insurance Company entered into a loss portfolio transfer reinsurance agreement with Aleka Insurance.
Jamie Court is the president of Consumer Watchdog. He's been studying insurance markets for years.
Well, Aleka Insurance is a wholly owned subsidiary of Uber, and its sole purpose is to self-fund Uber's insurance system. It is nothing more than a department of Uber, if you look at it that way.
Yeah, totally did not see that coming.
Captive Insurer is an insurance company that is owned by one company to service that one company's insurance claims.
Board of directors entirely current or former Uber executives. 95% of premiums stay inside Uber. Captive insurers are legal, common even. Lyft runs one, also in Hawaii. But this one raises a real question. Why does an insurance fee, set by the company collecting it, seemingly track price and not risk? That question may have an easy answer.
All we need to see is their books, a basic profit-loss statement.
But it's impossible to get from the outside.
Every other insurance company in America has to publish how much they pay out in claims, how much they take in premiums. Aleka doesn't have to do any of that because its only customer is Uber, and Uber controls Aleka.
When asked for comment, Uber told us Sherman is wrong, that the fee tracks risk and includes factors like origin city, distance, duration, time of day, and weather. Sherman's analysis controlled for these, or close proxies. The fee still swung from $13.75 to $50, and the only thing it tracked was the fare and the driver's pay. But back to Uber's statement. Uber said its books are externally audited, that some outside insurers price its risk even higher, and that running its own insurance, quote, allows us to decrease the cost of insurance and the associated fees charged to riders. We don't have access to Uber's data and books, but that last claim we can check. Lower insurance costs, lower fees. That's the promise. Uber has spent years and millions in state houses trying to deliver the first half. Last fall, California gave it to them.
If an uninsured motorist hits you now, the most that Uber is responsible for your injuries is $60,000. Previously, it was responsible for a policy for $1 million.
a 94% cut to what Uber owes if someone gets hurt. You already heard the case they made for it.
They said the cost of insurance has gone up. They didn't say they were charging themselves for insurance. Otherwise, the legislature would have asked to see their books and see how much their insurance costs actually were.
What was passing that bill worth to Uber?
It's right in their proxy statement. They actually pay the executives specifically for success on this specific piece of legislation.
Wow.
It says passage of SB 371.
Uber disputes this characterization. They told us that executive compensation is not tied to specific initiatives, but to, quote, broad-based insurance reform efforts, and that the company will continue to unapologetically pursue insurance reform, especially where we see lawsuit abuse.
We're going to keep doing it.
Consumers. Now, the fight is going national.
Uber got an 11th-hour amendment on the Friday before Memorial Day weekend.
The amendment would override state law. It reclassifies Uber as a digital network and ultimately shifts liability above $1 million to the driver, unless Uber was grossly negligent or criminal. And it's retroactive. Survivors and advocates warn it could shield Uber from the 3,600 sexual assault lawsuits it already faces. As of publication, it's still in the bill. If it passes, will driver pay rise and fares fall? We already know the answer.
3,600, too many.
In California, the rideshare industry's insurance cost fell, and Uber executives predicted what would happen next.
I mean, all that tells me is the people that have been in these situations or that have been wronged by Uber in one form or another should be suing.
Targeted fix to a problem that's
because they're ready to be sued.
Quietly making rideshare more expensive for millions of riders.
A gig worker data company tracked what happened across the rideshare industry. In the western region, where California accounts for the majority of the rides, insurance costs dropped 20%. Rider fares increased 3%, while driver pay rose 1%. Insurance got cheaper, your ride didn't.
All the benefit essentially flows to Uber. That's all part of a consistent pattern.
Uber contends that Gridwise's analysis does not reflect rising insurance costs, and California riders are on track to save hundreds of millions in reduced booking fees. So let's step back. The insurance fee Uber blames for your high fare and low driver pay is a number Uber sets, and independent analysis suggests it moves with the money, not the risk. Where that fee goes is a debate. The books are sealed. Uber says they're audited, that nothing is wrong. Back in the car, Levi's thinking about his passengers.
I did an Uber ride last week, and she makes a quarter more than minimum wage. She's spending like $40 on an Uber to get to work. Now this is a short-term thing. Hopefully she solves it.
She pays the
like
fare
a whole day's
and
work.
the fee. Levi just drives.
Many things can be true at once. I like being an Uber driver. I'm glad the service that Uber provides. Commercial auto insurance, pretty fishy. Yeah, I'm just going to continue to be the best driver I can be. Give the safest, most professional rides, and hopefully earn a little bit of money.
2 hands on the wheel, dude.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. If you want to support our journalism...
Wait, one time I landed in Peoria, Illinois. The plane landed like at 10:30, but they had an issue like unloading the luggage from the plane, so didn't get the luggage until like 11:30. That airport's a very small airport, so literally nothing to do but sit there and wait around. By the time I got my bag, there was nobody at the airport. The airport literally fucking closed. It was crazy. There was nobody there. And so I was like, okay, cool. I'll just open the Uber app. The signal was awful. Like I think I had like fucking like not even like 5G. I think I had like 3G or something, dude. And then like on top of that, there was no car. I waited like 10-15 minutes for it to find a ride. Nothing came up. So finally I walked around and found like the taxi phone number. Hey, wait, what city? Peoria, Illinois. I found the like the taxi cab number. I called them. It took them forever to pick up. They finally picked up. They finally sent somebody to me to pick me up. This is like this dude pulls up in like a fucking like Dodge Neon or something. That sounds like I could hear him coming a mile away. And like, so like I get in the car. I mean, what choice do I have? Like, And fucking, it took me to the hotel. The fucking wheel sounded like it was gonna grind the fuck off. Like, that shit was crazy. It was a weird time, man. But yeah, you can't depend on Uber for everything. Uber wants to replace the taxi industry in the United States, like altogether, right? I assume it's a worldwide aspiration. But do they have a phone number you can use if your phone doesn't work? I don't think Uber does, right? Can't just call call an Uber. I don't know. I guess rare situation compared to the situation we're in now. Yeah, sounds right. Yeah. I learned that being in Peoria for like a week. That's a dead town, man. I think Caterpillar left them. Back to Gerald, sorry.
Wait, that's not real footage? Are you sure? Wait, that's not real footage? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you serious? That's not real? You didn't get real people and put them in front of a camera? What? No. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It looks so good. It looks so I can hardly tell. Wow. That's amazing. Hollywood is done. You're telling me these aren't clips from the new Spider-Man movie? What? It looks so real.
I can't tell the difference.
Hollywood is done, man. Oh my god. No. You gotta be pranking me, right? Where's Ashton Kutcher? Because that's how old I am.
That's how old I am.
Really a joke here. I mean, they move so lifelike. This feels like I'm watching a memory. It feels like it's happening right in front of me. It's so real. I don't think you need to change a thing about this. I think you should always do this for that all the time because it's so real and it's so convincing all the time.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Is this
Hollywood
a new Grand Theft Auto?
is so done. They're not ready for you. Wow. You're a true artist because that
I would enlist
art
2 years
life,
to play this.
That's art right there. Wait, that's not real footage.
Yeah.
For rail. Have you seen how big the New York area is? Houston's got...
hold on.
American cities are too big for rail. Have you seen how big the New York area is? Houston's got nothing on it. It's so
they
big.
said too big to be walkable, but I guess if you included rail, like a train that goes everywhere, then you would just have to walk to the train, right? Which I would assume wouldn't be very far if you put the train going through the right places. You know what I mean?
Touches Philadelphia and just becomes Philadelphia. And also, these are areas that are definitely more car-oriented, and most people use their car to get around, but they also have the option and use the option to take the train. I mean, Long Island is one of the least walkable places in the country. There aren't sidewalks almost anywhere, the roads are super wide, the density is very low, and these areas are too big and spread out to be very transit-friendly. And often, they're even less walkable than much of Houston. But you always have the option to take the train. And so the Long Island Railroad has the highest ridership of any commuter rail system in the country. So size isn't really the issue here. It's more how you use it. For more tip, tricks, and music about urban planning, watch the new music video for the song Add Another Lane, and have a good night.
One more lane, bro.
American cities are too big for rail.
Hell yeah. All right. Let's go this way.
Yeah. Fuck.
Get a bit negative to this.
Okay.
Yeah. The rookie has spoken. ExpressVPN. I foresee a future where your data belongs entirely to you. Now, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Fuck. No.
Like, no. I mean, then we even had this one. Your data belongs to you. We had this one. Your future will have no search history. I'm opening yours.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like,
what is happening here?
This is ridiculous. Oh, it looks extra red now. Try your luck with a free spin on ExpressVPN. The real fortune is on the other side.
We got ads in our fortune cookies. I mean, fortune cookies are an American invention, right? Like, so I guess it just makes sense that we finally get like advertisements, in our fortunes. It's
free ExpressVPN, cool, but like at the same time, at the same time, like, why are we having this in here?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
No.
No, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Get a bit negative to this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, thanks, Bernays, I guess. How how else can we monetize our life? Just a little bit more. One more monetization, bro. Why the CIA created Pokemon Go? I've been having this one in the chamber for weeks now. Here we go.
Top of them. Put simply,
Yeah.
Most people don't know that the founder of Pokemon Go, John Hankey, received funding from In-Q-Tel, which is the venture capital firm created by the CIA. And while you and your friends were walking around your city, scanning the earth to catch your favorite Pokemon, the game's developer, Niantic Incorporated, was collecting all that data and using it to build advanced 3D maps to facilitate military attacks on third world countries. You see, Pokemon Go was created—
Damn, I got a psyop by the CIA, said everyone. I at this point. Yeah, I saw a fucking I saw like, okay, so I saw a post on Threads from a supposedly black female that said Native Americans also own slaves. So fuck Native Americans. They got what they deserved. And I was like, what the fuck? This sounds like some psyop shit for real. And so, like, of course, me being a curious cat of the way that history works. Yeah, we've lost the plot. Yes. I looked it up, and it is true. Yeah, some tribes did have slaves. They also went through chattel slavery. Fed threads for real. Yeah, it is fed threads. And they said it was due to the influence of the white man, because you either comply with the white man or you end up like the other Native Americans, which have been genocided. Right? Native Americans used to make 100% of the North America. Right now, they're like less than 1% of the population in the United States. I don't know. It kind of tells you like a little bit of what they went through, right? Anyways, Don Cheadle's family were owned by indigenous people, according to a Roots episode. See? Okay. So I looked up the number, and it's like, it was like 7,600. I forgot what they had the exact number of how many slaves the Native American tribes owned. Now, compare that to what the white man owned in the United States is 3.9 million. They had 3.9 million slaves. The white man had 3.9 million slaves. I think that's a slightly bigger number than 7,000. The fucking psyop post, bro, is fucking like fed post, like on my main, like on the fucking timeline, dude. That shit's crazy. Just further driving division. It's insane, man. It's insane. And like, people are gonna see that and they're like, oh, well, I hate this minority for another reason or whatever. It's fucking nuts, man. Many indigenous folks owned slaves as a legal way to keep them safe, and then those folks were free on indigenous lands. But yes, some native people participated in the horrors of slavery. Full stop. Yeah, no, but like the numbers, when you compare the numbers, it's like we see the obvious problem was the white man slave owner that created the fucking country. based off of slavery. It's fucking nuts. They fought a war about slavery. That's how much they loved it.
By the same guy who essentially created Google Earth. John Hanke was the co-founder of Keyhole, which developed a 3D digital mapping program called Earth Viewer. Keyhole's Earth Viewer 3D client application uses video game-like 3D graphics and access to massive databases of network-hosted Earth information, including satellite imagery and aerial photography, to produce an interactive digital model of the Earth. The product was unlike anything anyone had ever seen before in the early 2000s, but it was unclear what its use case would be, and therefore Keyhole was bleeding money. Every few months for years, John would find himself scrambling to raise money from Silicon Valley investors to keep the lights on. That was until
that's like trying to say the free black people who owned slaves were co-signing it, but look into it and they had their family brought together through the systems of time.
In-Q-Tel saved his company from going under.
Then we got our...
I mean, it's just like a psyop of like overgeneralizing like one minuscule part of a gigantic problem.
Really a lifeline from a kind of unusual source. In-Q-Tel was this new little venture capital firm that was basically a government VC firm with money from the intelligence community. So that was one of the few funds in the Valley that was doing real business, and they were making a lot of investments at the time. This was in the kind of post 9/11 security ramp up period. And so they found out about our technology and invested a few $1 million.
You kids like 9/11,
Thanks to
right?
In-Q-Tel's funding, Keyhole was supplying technology to troops in Iraq and the Pentagon, and they ultimately became a profitable company due to the massive amount of government contracts rolling in. Shortly after, Keyhole was acquired by Google in 2004, and they turned this technology into what we now know as Google Earth. After Google's acquisition, John Hanke became the vice president of product management for the company's Geo division, where he oversaw products like Google Earth and Maps. Google Earth was revolutionary because it gave everyone access to detailed satellite imagery of nearly the entire planet from a home computer. You could explore unfamiliar cities, inspect neighborhoods before moving, and plan trips, but they quickly realized it was far more powerful than that. Humanitarian organizations began using it to coordinate disaster relief. Scientists monitored deforestation and climate change. Archaeologists used it to discover previously unknown ruins. Journalists investigated war zones, and governments used it because it was better than anything they had access to.
The product ended up being used in ways that we never anticipated. I guess I'll just say it that way. When Katrina happened in New Orleans, the Coast Guard was using Google Earth and Craigslist to basically find where people were trapped and send helicopters in to rescue them. Kind of crazy. You would think, well, the government, they've got lots of sophisticated software, but as it turns out, web software that's available that already has the data in it, it's ready, easy to use.
The private industry succeeds.
A breakthrough, really.
But after working for 6 years inside Google's corporate ecosystem, Hanke wanted the freedom to combine everything he'd learned about digital maps and augmented reality to create a video game. Now, if you ask me, that seems like a crazy career change. Technically, the foundation of John's Earth Viewer product started in college while working with his classmates on an open-world video game idea, but he knew the technology had much more potential, and it did. So after changing the world with his vision, creating a CIA-funded startup for military operations, and then getting acquired by a tech giant, going back to being a video game developer seems like a massive career and lifestyle change. That is, unless it was part of a larger plan. Google actually did not want John Hanke to leave the company. For whatever reason, they felt that his video game idea might become valuable to them in the future, so they convinced him to create Niantic Labs as an autonomous unit inside of Google. Basically, they gave him the freedom of creating a startup, but using all of Google's resources inside of Google's walls. If it failed, Google would get their employee back, and if it succeeded, then Google could be an early investor or part owner of a major video game innovation.
So this is why you could log into Google right away with Pokemon Go. I always thought that was kind of sus, honestly.
Niantic's first major product was an app called Field Trip, a virtual tour guide that
log in with
analyzed
your
the
Google
user's
account.
location, provided suggestions for nearby landmarks to visit, and offered information about
As
the
a
area.
SSO.
It wasn't much of a game, but it laid the foundation for their next big project called Ingress. Launched in 2012, Ingress was an augmented reality mobile game that prompts users to explore their neighborhoods and locate portals at nearby landmarks. This was quite literally the same idea as Pokemon Go. Those who played it were intoxicated by the addictive gameplay loop, although it failed to pull in a large player base even years after its release. Luckily for Niantic, one of the game's players would prove to be an invaluable asset with direct ties to the Pokemon Company. But real quick, I'm sure you have all connected to public Wi-Fi at some point, at your airport or your local coffee shop, and every time you do, you're leaving yourself vulnerable to cyber attacks.
Commercial.
These networks are often unsecured and lack sufficient back guarantee. Thanks, Surfshark. A Japanese Google Maps engineer named Tatsuo Nomura pitched the idea of placing Pokemon inside of Google Maps as an April Fool's joke. He traveled to Japan and got direct permission from the Pokemon Company to implement the feature. John Hanke asked Nomura to show the Pokemon Company's executive board the Ingress game. Little did they know that the president of the Pokemon Company was already a massive fan of the game. And because of this, Niantic was able to secure a partnership with Nintendo and create Pokemon Go. They launched the game on July 6, 2016, but they never could have anticipated the chaos that would come next. In just 2 months after its release, the app was downloaded over 500 million times, and an estimated 21 million players logged in every single day on average.
It was 2016. Did anybody actually Pokemon go to the polls?
Not only had it surpassed the success of mobile games like Candy Crush or Clash Royale, but it was pulling in more engagement than websites like Twitter and Facebook.
I remember a friend of mine telling me that she almost crashed because she was playing Pokemon Go.
The concept was simple. You walked around your neighborhood and searched for virtual Pokemon. When you found one, the game used your phone's camera to make it look like the Pokemon was right in front of you, and you used Pokeballs to catch them and add them to your collection. The game incentivized users to explore the world around them, offering various digital Pokestops at notable locations or landmarks. These Pokestops served as a hub to collect in-game items and use special lures to attract more Pokemon. This also included Pokemon gyms. Players selected from one of 3 teams and would compete with rival Pokemon hunters to control areas to earn Pokecoins and buy upgrades. Pokemon Go wasn't just another mobile video game. It transformed your local neighborhood into a fantasy world. This is why it became a cultural phenomenon almost instantly. Public parks were overflowing with players searching for rare Pokemon, restaurants and stores used nearby Pokestops to advertise their businesses, and content creators were racking up millions of views just by playing the game. The game skyrocketed into mainstream pop culture, becoming a topic of discussion on late-night television shows, and was infamously referenced by Hillary Clinton during her 2016 presidential campaign.
How did she not win?
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
You know who created it? The CIA did!
It's safe to say Pokemon Go was taking over the world, but it wasn't just making headlines for its record-breaking numbers. It was also being linked to real-world accidents, life-altering injuries, and even deaths. Only days after the game's release, 2 men were hospitalized while playing Pokemon Go. They hopped a fence to get access to a Pokemon on the other side, ignoring a sign warning pedestrians of the unstable ground on a nearby cliff, which both men eventually fell down. The players sustained serious injuries, but fortunately survived. Others were not so lucky. A truck driver in Japan hit 2 women while playing Pokemon Go, severely injuring one and killing the other. Players of the game began to find themselves in increasingly dangerous situations as both drivers and pedestrians were getting distracted by the app. And the more people became immersed in the world of Pokemon, they lost touch with the world around them. Players began disrupting religious services and funerals. The Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. asked people to stop playing the game inside of their establishment. Players were also being disruptive at the Arlington National Cemetery, causing problems for grieving families and members of the military paying their respects. As you can imagine, after Pokemon Go exploded in popularity, the video game industry became extremely interested in learning more about the developers. John Hanke of Niantic Labs was interviewed in front of a live audience at TechCrunch in San Francisco and seemed like he could not be less interested.
First, and most importantly, what team are you on?
I'm yellow. I'm all about the yellow. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Team Instinct, anyone out there?
Yeah.
Team Instinct, there we go. I'm not going to try and button that back up on stage.
It's crazy that the creator of the game couldn't even properly answer the question, what team are you? Which refers to one of the 3 factions players can join once they reach level 5. Team Valor, which is red, Team Mystic, which is blue, or Team Instinct,
He had no
which is
idea how to
yellow.
play the
He just
game
said the yellow one. The interviewer was clearly a massive Pokemon fan, and Hanky seemed like the total opposite. It was disappointing to players that the most viral game of 2016 surrounding one of the most beloved IPs of all time was being spearheaded by a boring corporate suit. But what was particularly interesting was his insights on working with governments before they launched the game in different countries.
So we're still in the rollout phase of the game.
Do you know what the next rollout country is going to be?
I have a pretty good idea, but it is pending getting things squared away on the government relations side and getting everything prepared, so I can't say right now. It has been interesting that
everything's a psyop,
we didn't really
man.
anticipate the level to which it would attract interest from government people and policy people and things like that, but that's become part of the dialogue at this point, so we're getting, more well-versed in those skills.
Now, we don't really know what interests governments had with the game. Now, I'd imagine governments had obvious concerns, like tens of thousands of people gathering in parks, people blindly walking into traffic, etc. But Hanky didn't use the word concerns. He said interests. Another thing to note was that South Korea refused to let Google export its detailed government map data to foreign servers out of fear that it could expose military bases and other sensitive locations to North Korea, which made Pokemon Go nearly impossible to launch across most of South Korea. China also heavily regulates foreign access to geographic data and blocked Google Maps entirely because it considers detailed mapping a matter of national security. In other words, while most players saw Pokemon Go as a harmless mobile game, entire governments were already treating the data underneath it like a potentially dangerous military asset. The question is, did Niantic Labs know that they were wielding a dangerous military asset? Well, there was this one controversy that came up where iPhone users discovered that signing in through Google gave Niantic full access to their accounts. Per Google's own description, this meant access to both view and modify anything in the account. To many, they believed that this meant unfiltered access to their images, videos, and emails, although it wasn't that simple. Niantic stated that it only had access to the user's IDs and email addresses, and Google personally verified that no additional information was given to the company. So since Niantic couldn't steal the data just by someone making an account, they had to trick users into giving it up for free. And what resulted was one of the most ambitious geospatial data collection projects ever hidden behind a mobile game, one whose technology would later facilitate devastating military operations. 4 years after the game's release, Niantic introduced an interesting new feature, AR mapping tasks. Pokestops marked by notable landmarks would now offer users rewards if they completed AR scanning prompts. These required players to scan the surrounding area with their phone's camera for about 20 to 30 seconds. Interesting that this feature was not available for children's accounts. From the player's perspective, the feature was relatively harmless. They had already become accustomed to Pokemon Go tracking their location and having access to their cameras, so when Niantic offered free rewards with the promise of game improvements, players were eager to take part. Niantic claimed that
Americans will do anything for treats, man. Like literally anything for a treat.
the data collected would inform the game's engine to understand the depth and complexity of the real world. This would make for a way more immersive experience, in which virtual objects could seamlessly integrate with the world around them. In hindsight, it seems like an evil genius plan. The man who created Google Earth and worked directly with the CIA and international intelligence organizations was getting people to voluntarily 3D scan the world around them while they think they're just helping Niantic make a better Pokemon game. These scans would help develop a much larger technology called Lightship VPS, which stands for Visual Positioning System. The satellite-based technology of GPS was useful, but not optimized for the best augmented reality experience. For example, it might be able to tell you that you're near a statue, but it's typically incapable of understanding where you are relative to the landmark, whether you are behind it or in front of it, if you are 3 feet away or 30 feet away. This information isn't important when getting general directions for a road trip, but when it comes to making accurate drone strikes on enemy base camps without harming innocent civilians, it can make a massive difference.
Without harming innocent civilians.
Mark, they recorded more than just a video. It tracked the latitude, longitude, and altitude
You're
of the
telling me, so hold on, that statement, you're telling me that we're doing, and that our ally, Israel, is doing indiscriminate precision bombing on purpose. Is that what my takeaway is there?
Device. It also utilized the phone's accelerometer and gyroscope, allowing the system to consider the phone's position and orientation. Considering all of this data, the scans could be used to make reliable inferences about the user's distance from both the landmark itself and the surrounding environment. Every scan submitted was unique, taken at different angles, positions, and distances. Each video was divided into approximately 300 individual images, all of which were pieced together with other scans to create a full 3D digital map of the area. Essentially, Niantic was creating the world's largest, most detailed 3D scan of the entire world, and Pokemon Go players were helping for the most innocent intentions. VPS could compare the player's live footage against this virtual world to determine the player's exact location, which helped influence where objects and Pokemon would be anchored within the real world.
Yeah, this is why I never turned the camera on. I never trusted the camera to be on. I was like, no thanks.
Think about how NPCs in Grand Theft Auto sometimes mindlessly walk around with no intention or logic applied to them. Pokemon Go was similar initially, but with this new technology, the Pokemon could now be programmed to interact with their surroundings. Instead of being mindlessly placed on the ground, they would be able to hide behind the landmarks or even climb on top of them. Put simply, the goal of this technology was to make a near-perfect replica of the world the way that humans would experience it, so that the Pokemon in the game could literally interact with the world the same way a human might. And players were willing to sacrifice 30 seconds of their day if it meant free rewards and a better experience down the line. And by November of 2022, Niantic revealed that they had developed more than 120,000 digital maps of various locations throughout the globe. But technology this powerful would be wasted if it were only used for Pokemon Go, and Niantic understood this deeply. While they stated their goal was always to give people tools to become 21st century explorers, it felt like they were leaving a massive opportunity on the table. But VPS also had a major limitation. The system was only able to recognize information it had already been given. If a landmark had only been scanned from the front, the model would not be as effective when used from behind. And if it had received no prior information on a landmark, there was nothing the model could work with to provide an immersive experience. They had now gathered enough data for 1 million different waypoint locations to have full VPS integrations, but there were still millions of locations that had not been fully scanned. Niantic sought to fix this issue with their large geospatial model announced in 2024. The goal was to take all of the combined data they had collected and use AI to make inferred guesses about partially unscanned locations. Niantic uses a church as an example. If players had only scanned the front of a particular church, the VPS technology might be unable to recognize footage taken from behind, but the large geospatial model could infer based on thousands of other churches that had been fully scanned and make an educated prediction about what the back of that specific church would actually look like. Humans have the ability to do this naturally. We are capable of applying our personal lived experience to make inferences about our environment. If I showed you the front of a house, you could probably make a pretty good guess about what the back of it looks like. You might not get every detail right, but you'd expect windows in roughly the same places, a back door, maybe an AC unit, a fence, or a patio. Your brain does not know that specific house, house, it's recognizing patterns from thousands of houses you've seen before. Niantic wanted AI to learn that same instinct, but with near perfect precision. And only months after announcing their large geospatial model, Niantic made the shocking decision to sell Pokemon Go. While Scopely Incorporated acquired the rights to Niantic's catalog of games for $3.5 billion, Niantic retained all of the data, research, and technology they had been developing over the last decade, which includes their VPS and
they
geospatial.
came out with the Monster Hunter game that I was pretty enthused for, but then I was like, it's not as good, man. And I played it like when it came out, but again, no camera stuff. I don't want to do that. I don't know. I guess I was just kind of over it at that point.
Models. In other words, they kept their most valuable IP, sold the rest of their got the data, and were ready to move on, leaving Pokemon in the dust, which to some makes it seem like they never cared about Pokemon in the first place, and it was all a part of a bigger operation. The company shifted its focus away from video game development, and under the leadership of John Hanke, began working on Niantic Spatial. The company made it clear this technology had far more potential than improving augmented reality experiences. It had the ability to help both humans and machines to understand the world and navigate it. Instead of figuring out where to spawn Pokemon, the technology could be used to train a robot or AI-powered vehicles to determine their locations without the use of GPS. Like, you know how outside of your town, you don't really know where you're going or where you are, but thankfully you have access to GPS on your phone. Well, they're working on a technology for machines, robots, or vehicles that would essentially install a perfect one-to-one understanding of the entire world. So you could theoretically place it anywhere and it'll know exactly where it is and exactly how to get where it needs to go in the fastest way possible. And
I'm sorry, I'm just like, those drones that Walmart's using, Amazon's using, they're doing the same shit that this is exactly what they're doing.
initially, this tool was being marketed as something that could enhance manufacturing, warehousing, logistics, construction, tourism, entertainment, and education. Like a warehouse worker could use the VPS technology to navigate the facility and streamline the process of conducting inventory management instead of just like walking around the building and understanding where things are and where they need to go. But Niantic was also getting involved in areas that most might not have expected. This became clear when Niantic Spatial announced it was teaming up with a company called Vanter in December of 2025. While Niantic had its roots in the gaming industry, Vanter had always been a part of the intelligence and defense sectors. They are best known for creating mapping systems used by military commanders and soldiers to analyze the battlefield and coordinate. This partnership may seem bizarre on the surface, but it was actually a perfect match. Vanter had developed a visual positioning system called Raptor. Similar to VPS, Raptor was capable of determining its location by analyzing its environment and making inferences. When a drone became disconnected from GPS signal, it could utilize Raptor to assess the roads, buildings, and hills to figure out its position relative to Vanter's own personal map. However, the technology was relatively limited as it gathered data from airborne drone footage, meaning its pool of data was limited to the sky. This is where the partnership really starts to make sense. VPS system did everything Raptor did, but on the ground floor. Specifically, it gave the same tools to both troops on the ground as well as AI-controlled robots and vehicles. With Vanter in the sky and Niantic on the ground, the two companies hope to create a shared digital map that can be used by drones, vehicles, and people with or without the use of GPS to stay connected. Was Niantic developing weapons or making decisions in regards to active combat? No, but they were playing a role that is arguably just as important. They were helping AI-powered drones understand where they were and help them stay coordinated with personnel on the ground. Technology originally marketed as a way to make your Pokemon catching experience more immersive was now helping drones, vehicles, and soldiers coordinate on the battlefield. Niantic has continued to become a more prominent part of the defense sector. Recently, the visual positioning system received awardable status through a federal marketplace, Tradewin Solutions, meaning that government agencies were able to negotiate deals and purchase the technology for their own use. And taking a look at Niantic Spatial's website, they appear to have struck deals with the United States Coast Guard and the Air Force. So this isn't some kind
Vanter, MHI Aerotech, Alias.
to have struck deals with the United States Coast Guard and the Air Force. So this isn't some kind of crazy conspiracy theory. The data they gathered through Pokemon Go was used to develop mapping technology that is literally being used by the military. I'm not sure how many Pokemon Go players who
we're not
agreed to
merging our
participate
military with anybody else's military
in AR scanning would have done so knowing that this was going to be used for the military, which is why now tons of players feel like they were straight up lied to. When Niantic first introduced the AR scanning feature, the company was transparent about their intentions to an extent. It told players that these scans would be used to create a better gaming experience, and while they did make it clear that this data would be used in apps outside of Pokemon Go, I'm not sure if anyone expected military defense applications, which is why it seems as though this was always the purpose of creating this technology. When you think about it, Niantic was never really a game developer. They have always been a mapping company. Think about their origins. John Hankey's first business, Keyhole, had direct ties to the CIA, and he later went on to work a high-value job in Google's Geo division. He always has been aware of the massive price tag governments are willing to place on data, and with Pokemon Go, Niantic had access to information that wasn't available anywhere else. Pokemon Go was meant to be a family-friendly experience. It drew players in with the promise of getting to be fully immersed into a core part of their childhood in a way they never could before. It was also a defining part of many of Gen Z's childhoods. But the dark reality is that if Pokemon Go proved anything, it's that you were never actually playing a game. The game was playing you. And if discovering the deeper, suspicious intentions behind game developers is your favorite type of content, check out the video I made on the game Skate.
That was a year ago, brother. I ain't watching that. Ah! Are we cooked? All signs point to yes. How could we have been deceived? That's cool. I'm sure nothing bad will come from this technology. Oh wait. The surveillance technology.
Everywhere in that town. We have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing. You know the quality on the camera doorbell you have.
Yep.
I've got that on my phone right now of you taking that package.
Where is this place?
I just told you.
I don't know what it is.
Okay, I have you on camera.
Okay.
You taking a package and walking away. Is there any reason why you would have done that?
Nope.
You were in town from 11:52 until 12:09 exactly. Like I said, nothing gets...
This dude just wants her to be like, yes, I'm guilty. Please take me away in handcuffs. Like, what the fuck?
In or out of the town without us knowing about it.
52 a.m.?
Yes.
On the second. See, I need
And,
a phone and all this crap.
and here... Well, I can show you. And here's when you left at 12:09.
Obviously,
That's when
you're
you
a
left.
criminal.
No, to stop at Ridge Trail
Wait a minute.
and take a package. Well, there's no shushing. I don't
Yes,
need to
there
be...
is. I need to know where this is.
It doesn't matter. I'll be giving this all to you.
It doesn't
If you're
matter.
going to deny it to me, I am not going to help you with any courtesy. It is her. It is 100%. It is locked in. There is zero doubt. I wouldn't have come here unless I was 100% sure. 100%.
That's insane.
It is certain. It is on video. You're obviously welcome to go to court.
Okay, by video evidence, you have the ring and you have my truck. And that is it.
Nope. Everybody in the town of Bomar has a camera.
I don't doubt that.
I'm just telling you. I know it's unbelievable to you. I get that. I get that this is a shock to you. But I am telling you, this is a lock. 100%, no doubt.
This is a lock.
Okay, so it's 100% doubt a lock.
It's 100%, no doubt, a lock. She did this. I'm sorry, but it's true.
What
I don't
happened to
make these things
innocent
up.
before proven guilty,
So
man?
there's your summons. Like I said, it is December 2nd at 8:30 in the morning at 100 Jefferson County Parkway. And obviously you are welcome to, well, you have to appear for this. You're.
There's no way we can see this video or anything.
So like they give you a summons to appear, or else you're gonna go to jail for a longer period of time.
If you go to court, you may.
Why can't we see it now?
Because you have not been honest with me, so I'm not going to extend you any courtesy of showing you a video when I don't need
But
to.
I can show you videos.
No, you cannot.
Yes,
I can show you.
Okay, show me then.
No, you're not being honest with me.
We're getting our attorney.
That's
He just said I can show you, and then she's like, "Okay, we'll show you." No,
fantastic. Please do,
What
because
a
I've got a
moron,
video.
man.
We have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing.
Yeah, a Colorado woman was confronted at her home by a police officer claiming that she was responsible for an incident of a package theft because flock cameras had spotted her truck around the time of the crime. The officer called the evidence 100% no doubt. The woman provided tracking data from her phone and footage from her truck to police. The case was then dropped. We are basically being given no choice but to dox ourselves to prove our innocence. And the only way that you can prove your innocence is if you're constantly surveilling your own self. That this is like, it's insane, man. We live in the crazy timeline. I don't know how else to say that. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got for tonight. For the news, at least. I will be gaming after this. So, if you see the stream pop back up, it's because I'm gaming. So, if you want to tune into that, I'll probably hit the go live button here once I figure some things out over here. Yeah. Well, what games? I'm going to play Rivals probably. Marvel Rivals and or Overwatch. So some fast-paced hero shooter. It's really like that's why I like Rivals better, because like it's more like a fighting game, because I like to play the melee characters. But yeah, we'll you can come check it out, see how you like it. All right, guys. Have a good one. I'll either see you in a little bit or I'll see you next time.
Johnny's in America, Texas at the wheel. Nobody needs anyone, they don't even just pretend. Johnny's in America, I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of the world. I'm afraid I can't help it. I'm afraid I can't. I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of the world. I'm afraid I can't help it. I'm afraid I can't. I'm afraid of Americans. Johnny wants to blame, Johnny wants to suck on a coke. Johnny wants a woman, Johnny wants to think of a joke. Johnny's in America, Johnny looks up at the stars. Johnny combs his hair and Johnny wants pussy and cars. Johnny's in America. Johnny's in America.